Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to episode 172 of my weekly Q&A show, The People's Questions. We got a very, very large set of gaming questions, which is, I think it fits this particular episode since we are coming up to E3, and I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of E3 questions for episode 173. So to jump right into them, the first 5 questions come from JDS4696, and you want to know, am I looking forward to Fallout 4? No. I'm not a Fallout person. I've never played a Fallout game. It's never really seemed like the type of game I'm interested in, so no, I have no plans on playing Fallout 4 at all. Next question is, do I think the Joker might return in Batman Arkham Knight? I actually happened to see an image and a rumor stating that the Arkham Knight was actually going to be the Joker. I hope this isn't true. The Joker needs to stay dead, otherwise it kind of ruins the whole ending of Arkham City. And I think this would be a great way to prove that, yeah, you can actually have a significant Batman game without the need of Joker. And I think that with how they're handling things, this is going to be even better without Joker. So I hope he's still dead. Your next question is, have I seen the animated film Batman Unlimited Animal Instincts? No, I have not. In fact, I've never actually heard of that movie. Let me know in the comments if it's any good, and I don't know, maybe if you recommend it to me, if I have like a free day or a free weekend, maybe I'll check it out on whatever media site I can find it on. Your next question is, am I getting Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition? Yes, absolutely. I already have it pre-ordered. I'm actually really ecstatic that I can play as Virgil this time. It's been a long time. I think this is going to be close to what we need in a real Devil May Cry 5 game. I'm happy that we'll be able to play as Trish and Lady, and this is very much going to benefit when I actually do my next Versus Series matchup, so I can actually update my characters. So yeah, I'm pumped up to get it. And the last question is, when do I think the next Red Dead title will be announced? I was never really a big Red Dead Redemption fan. I couldn't get past the first hour, so as far as I'm concerned, if they never announce another Red Dead game, heck, I'll be happy for that. Your next set of questions come from another regular of mine going by the name of Phil the Darkness, and you want to know, what do I think about Raging Raven versus Quiet? The problem with coming up with an answer for that is that, one, we don't know anything about Quiet. We know very, very little. She's a sniper, and she has some type of ability that allows her to disappear and move really fast. That's it. So I can't really make an accurate guess as for who would win until I get Phantom Pain and then can actually study exactly how she operates on the battlefield and what are her tactics. So yeah, and I think the thing about Raging Raven is that although Quiet has a sniper rifle, it might have a range. Raging Raven can fly. She's got a grenade launcher, and she's armored, and she also has a number of drones which don't go down with one hit. So I think it's a pretty hard opponent to take down, even if you are playing Solid Snake with all his weapons. So until the game actually comes out, I can't really dissect and really say who would actually win in a fight. But don't worry, I actually do have a Quiet matchup planned out against Sniper Wolf as soon as the game comes out. So yeah, I'll have to wait till then. Your next question is, if the creator of Metal Gear asked me to design a new character for the game, who would I pick, or who would I make? I would pick probably a character who's a female character who's a little bit more significant. I think that Metal Gear Solid has handled the character of women very well. I just think we need to have a character who's a little bit more hands-on and has more screen time. Because as significant as characters like Naomi Hunter, and the Boss, and Eva, and a whole bunch of other female characters, I think we need one who's kind of like Meryl, but a lot more hands-on and has more screen time with our main protagonist. That's just that's the type of person that I would want to create. Next question is, do I think Snake could beat Agent 47? Yes, absolutely. The thing about Agent 47 is he's kind of like an assassin who relies a lot on stealth and disguise. I'm not saying that he can't win in a head-to-head contest, but I'm saying against someone like Solid Snake who has far more actual combat experience and much more intensive combat experience, I think that, Agent 47 really wouldn't last very well against Solid Snake. And this actually goes into your next and last question, or semi-last question, and you want to know if I'm going to make another Metal Gear Solid versus video after or before Quiet, what about Liquid Snake versus Big Boss? That's a little cryptic. I mean, I guess I could do something like that. Liquid's a little bit hard to dissect, despite the fact that he's kind of significant. I don't think I'd be interested in doing a Liquid Snake versus Big Boss matchup, just because it's he would certainly be a challenge to kind of figure exactly what his skill set is, despite the fact that it is documented. And I don't really want to do a matchup where he's so very similar to Big Boss. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you really dissect their skill sets between Solidus, Solid, and Liquid, they have strengths and weaknesses. But rest assured, I actually do want to use a Liquid in another versus matchup. I just don't want to put him up against Big Boss now. And this goes into the next 4 questions coming from Gunny Sachs Production, and you want to know, what is my opinion about Konami shifting to mobile gaming? Well, apparently that was actually a little bit of a mix-up, because they said that they were going to be doing mobile gaming, and some people thought that that meant everything they were doing was going to be mobile gaming, but they did say that they did want to do some consoles, which is okay with me. Well, I don't really like Konami as of right now. As far as it stands right now, Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain is probably going to be my last game I get from them for the time until something new arrives. And if they do decide to go mobile gaming, then that's just something I'm not going to be a part of. Your next question is, do I think Metal Gear Solid 5 will be a potential contender for Game of the Year? Absolutely. However, I do think there's one other game that will probably be better than Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think it's a contender for Game of the Year. I don't think it will win, although. I don't think it will. Next question is, have I seen the Solid Snake vs. Sam Fisher Death Battle, and if so, what is my opinion on it? Well, it was very entertaining, but I had no doubt that Solid Snake would win, because as they said, he had better hand-to-hand combat skills, and in terms of stealth maneuvers, Solid Snake is just better. I mean, Sam Fisher is a better assassin, but I think Solid Snake is an overall more experienced and dangerous soldier, which is why I had no doubt that Solid Snake would win. And your last question is, can I complete this quote? I killed her, my beloved, with my own hands. Yeah, that was very, very interesting quote from Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. So, yeah, thanks for throwing that one at me. The next 4 questions come from Dark Skull. I hope I said that right. And you want to know, who do I think would win in a real fight between Sephiroth and the Warrior of Light? Ooh. That'd be pretty close, but I think Sephiroth could win. Simply because I think that as skilled of a warrior as the Warrior of Light is, I don't think as a swordsman he's on the same level as Sephiroth. And in terms of sheer raw power, I think Sephiroth is a little bit more powerful. I mean, the Warrior of Light is strong, but I think he's stronger when he fights alongside other characters, as opposed to Sephiroth, who's always been good by himself. So I think it would be a close matchup, but I do think Sephiroth would win. Next question is, who is my favorite Final Fantasy character? I know this is going to sound very stereotypical of me, but I'm going to go with Cloud, simply because Cloud was probably the first protagonist I ever got a chance to play with, and in terms of characters I can relate to, I think he's probably the closest. Cloud's the type of character who, I don't really say he's depressive, but he has kind of different mood swings depending on who he's around, and that's kind of like how I am. When I'm by myself, I'm kind of very depressing, but when I'm around friends or people that I generally care for, I'm a little bit more, let's just say I have a little bit more life in me, and that definitely describes that Cloud very, very well. Your next question is, who is my favorite fictional character in general? You know, that is such an impossible character. There's so many great fictional characters, I really can't pick who's my favorite. I mean, if there were categories, that might be simpler, but in terms of overall fictional characters, I can't really come up with a solid answer. And the last question is, what are my thoughts on the new Dissidia game coming out, and do I think it will make it to the US? Well, I actually happened to see that Japan was making an arcade version of that, and I thought that was awesome. I definitely would love to pick this up, because it looks amazing. It certainly looks a lot better than the 2 Dissidia games we got on the PSP systems. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for this game, and I really hope it does get a United States release, because I do think that it would actually help me a lot in making a visual cue for some of my Final Fantasy versus matchups. So I hope it comes to the United States. The next 4 questions come from Deafening Drafts, and you want to know, what are my thoughts on Mad Max series as a whole? Well, I think they're very, very intensive action films. Some people didn't like Thunderdome for some reason. I thought it was entertaining. And it's got some of the best car chases and action set pieces of all time, especially if you've seen the newest Mad Max Fury Road, which I've seen at least twice, and I thought it was awesome. And I really can't wait to see what they do with the next installment, because how they're going to top that is going to be a pretty challenging feat to try to beat. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Your next question is, what is my favorite and least favorite horror movie? Well, I don't really do horror because I don't get scared. I've never been scared by a movie for some reason. The concept of horror and fear just doesn't hit me with movies. So I can't really say what are my favorite and least horror movies because I'm not a big fan of horror movies in general. So, yeah. Your next question is, Oreo or Chips Ahoy? Chips Ahoy, hands down. The soft, chocolate chip ones, yeah. Your last question is, what do I think of Nintendo? What do I think Nintendo should do in the minority amount of what? Well, this is kind of confusing, but I don't know what Nintendo should do because I don't really care about Nintendo at this point. I'm not a Nintendo person anymore. I've outgrown them, so I could care less what Nintendo does with this thing that you're kind of describing. So, yeah. And let's see how many questions we got left. We got a few more, so let's get them out of the way. Next question comes from CRH Gaming, and you want to know, what do I think about Steam refunds and about the thought of mixing bacon and macaroni? Well, in terms of Steam refunds, I've never used Steam, so I guess if you get something from Steam and you don't like it, you should have the right to refund it. And in terms of bacon and macaroni, I've actually done that before, and it's a very odd combination, but I think it works. The next question comes from Robot Tang. I've said that right. And you want to know, what do I think about the Ant-Man movie and making the suit have the power instead of not the man wearing it? Well, I don't really know all that much about Ant-Man, and I do know that the guy originally had the power, but I don't mind making it the suit. You're going to have changes like that when you're adapting a Marvel character to film, so as long as it's entertaining and it has a good story, then they can make whatever changes they want to it. The next 5 questions come from Dynamic Sniper, and you want to know, do I think Sony will show off the new God of War game, and if they do you think that they can revive all the gods or get a new ones? I really hope they do announce a God of War game, and I'm a little bit confused about what they're going to do. I always figured they might reboot it with a new character, because Kratos killed all the gods, basically. The world's been plunged into chaos. I mean, where can you go from there? So, if they do make another God of War game, I'm curious about where they can go with it. So, yeah, your guess is as good as mine. The next question is, do I think Destiny 2 will be shown at E3 2015? It's a big rumor right now. You know what? Seeing as how the response to Destiny 2 is kind of so negative, I wouldn't be surprised if they showed a Destiny 2, and even if they did, unless it's got massive improvements over the first one, I wouldn't be playing it. Your next question is, will I be getting Mad Max Savage Road? You know, I actually saw this at E3 2013 when they first announced this game, so I'm kind of happy that it's finally coming out. This is definitely something I'm going to rent, and it might even be something I want to own, because I like how it's a Mad Max game that is coming out long before the movies, which tells me that they did take their time with this game, and this was in production even before the movie came out. So yeah, I'm very impressed with what I've seen with the game. I absolutely will be playing it and reviewing it, and it certainly does seem like the type of game I might even want to own when it gets here. Next question is, do I think The Division will flop? It's possible. Any game has an opportunity to flop or bomb, but I think that they've kept The Division pretty well under the radar, so I think it might be a surprising game to play when it finally comes out. But no, I don't think it will flop. And the last question is, how do I think The Division will begin? Probably with a tutorial, I guess, like most games do. And the last 4 questions come from Switch Kid 1, and you want to know, Batman vs. Superman, in my opinion, who would win? I did a whole video kind of talking about this subject, and I'm just going to rush through my initial answer. If Batman has time to come up with the plan and Superman isn't expecting it, then Batman will win. But if you throw Batman into a fight with Superman cold, then Superman will obviously win. That's kind of how I've always felt how a fight between Batman and Superman will work. And I'm pretty sure when Batman vs. Superman movie comes out, we're going to see two fights. Batman's going to win one, or Superman's going to win the first fight, and then he's going to come back, and then Batman will win the second fight. That's how I think it'll work out in the film. The question is, how do I think Aquaman movie? How do I think the Aquaman movie will turn out? And where would I rank my top superheroes? I think the Aquaman movie is going to be okay. I think it'll be a surprise because most people today kind of have a biased opinion about Aquaman, so I'll like they'll turn him into a badass this time around, and hopefully he'll gain some new fans. And in terms of if I can rank my top superheroes, you know, I'll save that for another video. That would simply just take too long to do in this video, and it will just make it even longer. So, watch out for a top 10 superhero video, probably coming up in the next maybe couple of days. Your next question is, who would win in a fight between Harley Quinn and Black Widow? Well, obviously Black Widow, because Black Widow is a trained agent as opposed to Harley Quinn, who, although she's very skilled, I don't think she will do very well against a properly trained opponent. I mean, she's not really done that well against someone like Batman. I mean, she's tried to take on Batman by herself a couple of times, and although she's been able to get maybe a couple of good hits in, she's lost every fight against Batman every single time. So, no question Black Widow would win. And the last question of the episode is, what is my favorite Arkham game, and what is my opinion on the Arkham Knight, and should I pre-order it? In terms of my favorite Arkham game, it's always Arkham Asylum. I think it was the first. It kind of started everything, and I think that it still holds up till today. And in terms of my thoughts on Arkham Knight, should you pre-order it? Absolutely. This is going to be the last in a great series of Arkham games. This is going to be the end of an amazing era for Batman and, you know, comic book video games in general. And I think it's going to have one hell of a finale. And hopefully this will open the door to other DC characters being elevated to this status of awesomeness in terms of their games. And if those are all the questions you guys have for me this episode. If you guys have any more questions you would like me to answer in episode 173, make sure you type them into me in the comments down below. But make sure you get them into me before next Wednesday, before I start filming this. And if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me on future episodes, questions, and like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.